together on the floor. He just put it in a bag. And the UPS guy that delivered it, he knew that the bag was kind of tore up, and he just delivered it and then ran off. It's not really a big deal that it's bent, because you can just take your hands and it's actually broke. So the Dyson V6 will set up. The V6 is pretty close to the V7. This is the V10, V11. So basically your V6, V7, V8 will be the top one and the top one, and it appears that your V10, V11, V15 will be top and bottom. This is your Dyson V7, V8 plug-in, and it'll use your very bottom and your very bottom. So it does cover the V6, the V7, V8, and the V10, V11, V15 models like stated. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. Basically what I have is, I have a building that's been completely remodeled, and the entire staff has not been in for almost a year and a half on the third floor of this building. I believe some of the attorneys are going to be, when they do come back, are going to be a little weary about coming into the facility. So I'm actually going to supply them with a Dyson Cordless vacuum. If they're weary about someone coming into their office after this current situation with the virus, then they can use my vacuum and clean their own office, so we don't have any problems. But I needed a stand. I didn't want to drill into their walls. I'd already put one Dyson V10 in at the facility, and I'm going to go ahead and put, well, we're going to see if the cheapest stand on, I actually got this stand on eBay, but it is the cheapest on Amazon. And we're just going to assemble this stand, and that way I can move this vacuum around. They're not quite done with the facility yet. They've got carpet squares to lay and border trim around. And then I'm going to put this in here so they can all see it when they come in, and if they want to use it, then they can use it. So we're going to put the cheapest eBay/Amazon Dyson vacuum stand that is supposed to be for Dyson V6, V7, V8, V10, V11, and V15 model cordless vacuums together. There's only about 6 bolts from what I saw, so yeah, going to be a pretty short video, and I'll tell you kind of what I think and if it'll hold up. Let me get down on the camera here. So this is how they shipped it to me. We're just going to put it together on the floor. He just put it in a bag. And the UPS guy that delivered it, he knew that the bag was kind of tore up, and he just delivered it and then ran off. Oh my God. So there's not much to this here. I think it's made more of a mess than anything. And we'll just put it together. This stand was about, I think it was $29.50. It was basically 30 bucks. Wow, there's only a couple pieces here. I thought this unit was going to be taller, and it's not. It's not tall at all. We just basically have 2 pieces here, and one of these goes like this. Wow, there really isn't any directions whatsoever. So this bottom part just fits over this here, and it shows it just putting 4 bolts in. Wow, this thing is just mangled. It must have got mangled in the shipping. What we have is on each side of the stand, is going to be 2 of these very small bolts. I actually thought I bought a white one, but they sent me a black one, which I'm not real worried about. So I've got 2 bolts in there. Then we're going to have to put the other 2 in. Wow, this thing is like really bent. I don't know if this thing got bent in transport or if this thing was bent when it was manufactured. But it is really bent. I would say that this was bent in manufacture. And I probably ought to try to beat that. Oh, look at that. I can move it with my fingers. Beat it straight. Ugh. Then what we'll do is we'll just tighten these up. There's only 4 nuts there. Okay, well, I moved back, up to the counter here. I'm not doing this on the floor. Basically, these little tabs, when you get this shipped, you might have to bend these tabs. And this stuff is just made out of cast. It's just cast, kind of cheaply cast, but I mean, it will do the work. The problem is the little Allen head tool that they just sent me, I've already rounded it out and I don't even have 4 of the bolts in there. So I might have to go out to the garage and get my set of tools just to get this thing assembled. So that's not a plus on this set on sending these little mass-produced Allen heads. This thing literally probably cost 10 cents. I mean, let's face facts here. These things are not expensive. They just throw them in there. They're throwaway tools. You know, they just you know, this thing's made in China. When they mass-produce these things, they really just try to save money when they could make. I've bought so many things from overseas direct from China that, man, if they just spent the extra quarter, man. I mean, there we go, just rounded another one out. So I'm gonna end up, I've got to go get some tools out of the garage. Well, I ended up, I've got my own set of Allen heads. So if you get this, it looks like these are a 3 millimeter size nut. If you have Allen head Allen tools, you're going to need a 3 millimeter, and it's just going to be important that you get all these bolts really tight, especially for the base, because all the weight of the unit is going to be up top. And then we'll just tighten our bottom one here. Maybe. Now I would say if you're watching this video, the one thing to remember is that this is the cheapest. You will not find a cheaper, actually I should not say that. There was one other stand and it was made of wood, and I just didn't think that that was going to look right. So it looked kind of bulky. I'll be honest with you, the one that was made out of wood, it looked like I couldn't even get it in my car. So there, we've got our 4 bolts tight there. Okay, now that we have our base that is massively bent. This thing is bent. It did not ship well at all. It's not really a big deal that it's bent, because you can just take your hands and it's actually broke. This piece here is broke. I'll show you as we go. This one here is broke. We are just going to install our second piece here, and it just goes on like this, and then our 4 more Allen screws are going to screw this in. Oh boy, here we go. If I could just get one of them in here. There we go, just get it started. Then we'll get the second one in. I don't suggest getting these real tight. Is just put them in so the whole thing doesn't fall over. And then once all 4 bolts are in there, then we'll go back and tighten it up. I actually thought this was going to be a little bit taller. I couldn't really tell in the picture, but I wasn't 100% sure. So there's 2. And here's our last one for this. Okay, now that we have all 4 of our bolts in here, we're going to go back and we're going to tighten them up on each side. Man, these are some really cheap Allen bolts. They don't need to be real high quality for what we're working with. This is actually really easy to put together, and if the amount of space that I'm going to save, I can already tell you that I'm probably going to suggest that you buy one of these if you need one. It feels pretty sturdy. The base is pretty good. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And we're going to mount my custom built, I'm actually going to take the custom built Dyson V6 that I have that I use in my car, and we're going to use it here. I'm coming out with my own Dyson V7 V8 / Torrent Performance vacuum, so we'll go ahead and get that Dyson V6 in here. Okay, so now on mounting our battery charger supply, this is actually the V6 model adapter, and I've increased the battery capacity almost twice, so it's got a larger battery on it. It's a real neat build video. It'll be inside the vacuum playlist video, and we basically have 4 stations here. This will vary between what we use for the holes. So the Dyson V6 will set up. The V6 is pretty close to the V7. We have the Dyson, this is the V10, V11. So basically your V6, V7, V8 will be the top one and the top one, and it appears that your V10, V11, V15 will be top and bottom, or bottom and top. I prefer to use the top rail for that, so it will fit either or. And then just to make sure, I went outside and I grabbed my extra one that I had in the car. This is your Dyson V7 V8 plug-in, and it'll use your very bottom and your very bottom. So it does cover the V6, the V7 V8, and the V10, V11, V15 models like stated. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put one of our bolts in first, and I'm going to start with the bottom one. And we're going to use the top rail, and yeah, basically the top rail on both sides here. And we're going to put our little screw in, and then there's a nut that goes on the back. We're going to put the bottom one in first, and there's our screw, and there's our nut there. And then we're going to put the top one in. This is really easy to do. It looks like we got one extra one. And we're going to go in with our Allen head on the front side. We're going to hold the nut with the tool on the back side, and then we're just going to tighten this up. And then we're going to go to the bottom and do the same. And don't over tighten this. You may actually break the mount if you over tighten this, because we're going into the plastic. And we're just going to go back and re-tighten the top one. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to mount our Dyson V6, and I'll have this build video out pretty soon. I've actually got a fluffy head. This is the normal carpet head, and this one actually has an extendable telescoping wand, because when I was going to use this, I haven't even used this how I was intended to use it when I built it. But it was used to do multiple things besides just clean carpet. So it could dust blinds, it could get on top. It just makes it a lot easier, and then it varies in size for a different user. And this thing's just a bad mamma jammer. So we're just going to make sure that this fits in and fits. And it does. And I think we have room for 1, 2, 3, 4 attachments. See if I got any attachments. There's actually room for an extra head here, but I don't believe yeah, I guess you could put the fluffy head there. That would be, and we've got room for one more attachment, which would be this one. But I really like to carry a tool with me in case I need to get between cubicles, in between the edges of desks, in between basically anything. So it's just much easier to add this adapter tool onto this and carry one with me. So this is pretty neat, but I want to do one more modification. Believe it or not, this stand is it's very solid. However, I don't have access to that was a beetle or something. I don't know what the heck that was. I don't have access to mop water and a kitchen sink up there on the 3rd floor, so I actually use the Lidman floor sweeps, and then try to come in once every couple of weeks or once a month and actually do a mopping. So what I have is, this is our Lidman mops that we use at work, and I just wanted to be able to mount this with this stand. So I have a small mop piece here, and I'm just gonna, it appears I'm gonna put it about right there, right here, and just mount this to the stand. So what I have is, here's our broom attachment. I've got a self-tapping screw, and we're gonna use I'm actually going to use this rubber washer on the inside to try to save a little room here. If I can get that self-tapping screw in there. There it goes. Then I'm actually going to put this rubber adapter here on the side, and I'm going to use my impact to put this adapter onto this stand so I can put my broom, my wet mop broom, onto the stand as well. Be mopping my floor here so I don't get metal shavings in my feet. And I think that'll hold that mop so I don't have to put another hole in the wall. Hey, all right, I knew that was gonna work. That's fantastic. That's gonna save me so much space in that room. Now I just need to see if this is gonna work. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work, and oh, it's gonna save me so much space in that room. And then I can just hang my mop, my push mop right there. I've got everything on a stand. I mean, this is a really neat deal for doing this. So if you need to save space, you need the cheapest stand. If you buy this stand and you have a Dyson V6 and down the road you want a Dyson V7, V8, you could still use this stand, or maybe you go to a V10, you could go to this stand. The build quality is kind of, I'd say about a 7 out of 10. If you needed it, I would buy this though, and it's under 30 bucks, and you get it on Amazon through the links below. Any purchase helps support the channel. Just trying to help you all out with cleaning. So I'm out of here.